Hey guys, welcome back to Danger Planet. This is Doug. I'm here with Brandon, Landon, Sam, and Haku, and we're going to all do a little bit of a retrospective episode now that Ashes of Malifaux has been out for a while, talking about our favorite models from the book so far.
Wow.
Cool.
Neat.
So today's episode, guy, is mostly going to be focused on kind of like a mild retrospective, which is weird to say on Ashes of Malifaux now that it's been out for a little bit of time. And basically, each of one of us has picked 3 models from the Ashes of Malifaux book that have been impactful for us, either in terms of trying new things on the tabletop, enabling new play styles with different crews we haven't tried before, or maybe simply just kind of giving a new look to a crew that we hadn't picked up in a while. And we're each going to go through our top 3 picks, talk a little bit about each one, and talk about why we picked those models. So I guess with that, I'll start off with my number 3 pick. And my number 3 pick is Bashy. I love her. She's amazing. She's the best ice skater out there. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight with this entire video was models that have made me pick back up old masters that I've owned that I hadn't played in a little while. And specifically for me, Bashy opened back up looking at brown-based Zoraida, and specifically brown-based Zoraida 1, because I had been kind of only ever really thinking of Zoraida 1 as a purple master, especially after seeing what it was capable of when I had to play against Haku on it at Captain Con last year. I think purple Zoraida is really powerful, and I was always kind of a little like nonplussed about the obey targets on the friendly side that brown Zoraida had access to. And I was like, I'm going to try Bashy out. I know Bashy is really strong in the December keyword, but let's see if there's somewhere we can make it work on the brown side of things. And having access to the Ensorcel Obey with also the onslaught triggers on Bashy, I mean, Bashy can put out just a ton of bitey bites. And those bitey bites, I actually tested it out relatively recently, and Bashy was able to, between Zoraida and herself, kill Parker across the 2 activations. Parker Barrows 2 is in a Parker Barrows 2 matchup, and it was actually pretty impressive. And I was able to continuously get the tear off a bite triggers to basically yo-yo's Bashy's life total without it being too much of a problem. When I first looked at the model, I thought it was just going to do nothing. And it would be really, really easy to kill. But even just out on its own and chomping through people, she was able to do really good work for me. So my number 3 pick I submit to the council is the best ice girl, Bashy, specifically out of the Bayou. So what do you guys think?
I kind of want to know why you think Bashy is a girl.
I thought she was a girl.
I mean,
I
kind of want to know why you think, both of you think it's Bashy and not Bash.
Bashay?
Well, there's no circumflex, so it can't be Bashay.
But in my mind, it's Bashay.
It's like Hermes.
Well, I assumed that Doug was going for it being Bashy, not him.
Oh, it's like her story.
But it could be Bass he.
It could be
Bashay.
Bass he. That's a.
I don't know.
Point.
I think this model's wild. He has laugh off. He's min 3. It's really good. That's what I got. He's ruthless. Let's go. Why not?
It's a cool obey target that Brown finally gets again, right?
What else are you gonna obey in Bayou? Right?
Like, that's a model I want to try. I just haven't had the chance.
Yeah. He seems pretty good. I like him a lot.
All right, Landon, what do you got for your number 3, bud?
For my number 3, I have Canehurst. Canehurst is kind of like a really cool looking model. Really nails that sort of like Bloodborne-esque aesthetic that is going on here with the hunter's cap and the shotgun and the sword. But also more than that, he also opens up just some new play lines for Cooper by being able to turn people into beasts if you're doing like the Cooper 2 thing, or just having a good gun for like Cadmus, where the custom firearm gives you that 245 gun that can help you put out some range pressure so that people actually have to come into all your models. So it's one of those models that kind of fits in both keywords, but offers something to both. And that was kind of like the point of Ashes. So I think this is one of those models that really does a good job of doing that. And that's kind of where my favorite models from Ashes came from, is the ones that kind of feel like they belong in both places, but also do something new for both.
And I think don't feel too overtuned in any way. Like, I think you hit on a really sweet spot there, right? Which is like adds in some new play styles to existing keywords, feels like it could believably function in either of its split keywords, and isn't crazy overtuned and isn't breaking the game, right? And I feel like they did that. They hit that note pretty consistently with this book. You know, am I out of bounds on that? Do you think you feel kind of similarly?
There's always going to be some hits and misses in any book you release, but I'd agree on the whole so far that like we didn't get any Damians out of this, as far as I can tell.
We didn't get any Damien 2s out of this, basically, right? Which is probably the all-time low point.
Yeah, really any Damien. I really like Heiner's. Like, making Model 9 into a beast in Cooper 2 and then just doing stupid crap with him seems like it's one of the things that's on my like list of Ashes things to try.
It's on your checkbox of like shit I gotta do on the tabletop.
I'm really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the Soulsborne models that we get, because like now they owe us like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring. Let's fucking.
Well, we already got a bunch from the Hoffman set, right? So.
Oh, that's a good point. Well,
and I mean, Hoffman is the archetypical maidenless.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
maidens at all. That guy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. All right, Brandon, what's your number?
Because he's a nerd.
All right. Number 3, go.
Yeah. So my pick for number 3 is Irina Keen. I have been trying to make the Anya 2 execute spam list work forever, and it doesn't because it's bad. But a lot of it is just that whole mechanic is the kind of thing that like doesn't work at all until it suddenly starts working. You need a critical mass, and so just adding another execute is kind of a critical mass. And also, I'm a big fan of the kind of game where you're kind of like playing a mini game where you're trying to accomplish something specific. Like in this case, it's drain your opponent's hand and then execute them. It's like you're playing a game within the game. It's kind of like when hopeful prospects are trying to kill something and turn into a big boy. So I like Irina. I think she's neat. I like the way that they balanced her having another execute by putting it on an ability that doesn't do damage. So you have to kind of make a decision to whether that's something you want to go for or whether you just want to try to kill people. I like her synergy with her brother. So in general, I'm a fan. I still don't think the list is good, by the way.
Wild. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. She seems cool. Yeah, obviously you're hiring her with Altus, right? But like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Sam,
16 soulstones is a lot of points to put into something.
Why is it always execute spam with you, Sam? Why is it always execute spam?
I'm very pro death penalty.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if there's one, I mean, we've kept it out of the channel so far, but that dam breaks tonight.
That ends tonight.
Okay.
All right, then Haku next?
Haku,
what do you got for number 3, bud?
I've got Bad Omen, which, I just like that Yellow has another really good, solid, all-around, versatile model. And I'm not actually completely joking about that, because, they already have Mad Dog, Hannah, and a few others. But realistically, it's a actual 10-point Soulstone investment into a beefy model that allows a lot of crews, I think, to do more aggressive things with, particularly someone like the Vix, who don't really want to hire any of the other ones that I kind of just listed. Even like Eric is kind of awkward, and a lot of them you're investing more Soulstones because they're henchmen in order to get them what they're doing. So they're not really 10 Soulstones or 11 with the tax. It's more like, 12, 13, 14, however many you're damaging prevent. Whereas this guy, just really tanky. If your crew doesn't have a wave ignoring demise, you can always just get them back by killing. And that's something that Yellow loves to do.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the Bad Omen out of Levy, and I've really enjoyed it. He's been really good, especially with like the scavengers, because like his damage track is really good with lots of focus, right? Because obviously is it a 246, right?
Yeah,
it's a 246 with a built-in injury trigger on stat and with a stat 6, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a weird injury trigger. It's they just gain 1, not severe injury. But
Yeah. I'm just
I mean, it's
saying
fine.
you know who actually talked about this originally, and I agree with him, is Jim Dyson talked about this originally, is damage tracks like that love to wear focus, and scavs are really good at giving out focus. So I found in my levy lists, where I usually hire like at least 2 scavs, that having Bad Omen hanging out along levy are 2 independent kind of self-regenerating threats, and that's been pretty fun to play with. So, anybody have any thoughts before we move to Mr. Brandon?
I really like
important of the round 3s.
I really like 50 mil size 3 incorporeal dudes. They're like cool, but they don't like screw you if you misposition them. That's the Bad Omen.
And they always text you back, and like if you're ever like, "Yo,
That's
I gotta
true.
go karaoke,"
Yeah.
they're like, "I got you, bud. Let's do it." You know,
Yeah.
they're always there to like to
Yeah.
do the thing. Yeah.
They're always encroaching on my fate and impending my doom.
Oh, they're always impending your doom, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon,
Okay.
close us
So
out. Number 3.
I had a tricky time picking what my third model is, and it's going to be 2. I don't know if you guys have seen the guild episode of when we went through all the Ashes of Malifaux stuff, but I'm picking Aval Ortega and Domingo Montoya. You know, as one of the gays, I think that it's important to have people in the game where it's like basically all humans that you can like have and play with, and I really like these models. I think they're reasonable. I'm not really super jazzed about or the Ortega family keyword. A little bit more jazzed about Cavalier, but they have some interesting play stuff. They're like just very, very cool story, and like they're an archetype that's not traditionally represented in gaming, and I think that Malifaux has always done a really good job of that. And that's it. It's super awesome. I'm literally buying a guild crew to play these guys. We'll report back and see if it's good. You know, who can say? But
I think you make a good point. Like Wyrd has done, of any game I've ever played, they've done the best job of like diverse representation of different
like
races, and ethnicities,
58%. Yeah, I think it's 58% or some. It's like some absurdly high number of the main characters are female, which is a huge deal. And then, not to mention all of the like vast, different minority representation that they have in the game is just it's something that literally no other game does.
It's
Not
really
even
cool
close.
to see, and it doesn't feel. I think the thing that I appreciate about it is that it doesn't feel like it's being force fed to us at all. It feels like each of these masters really fit into their respective factions, and that the narrative, like their narrative, makes sense within the world of Malifaux, which is cool. Like it's inclusion, but not at the sake of making a good product, which I appreciate. You know?
Yeah.
So. All right, that's our number 3s. Anybody have any closing thoughts on number 3s before we move to number 2s?
The reason why Brandon, put the 2 guild models together is because, as we mentioned in the guild video, you can't split them up. Nothing can come between them.
That's true. Yeah. I'm damn sure not gonna.
And I'm damn sure not gonna.
And just so we're clear, if I'm ever playing Domingo and Aval against you and you kill one of them,
I'll kill you.
Probably not.
I'll just
Probably
jump across
not,
the table again.
I will give you a strong look and call you a monster.
A monster.
You
All right.
fucking monster.
Okay, cool. We're on to number 2?
I think so.
Okay. So, my number 2 is actually V, from the Amalgam Obliteration keyword. I was really excited about this model when I saw it because of the movement flexibility that it afforded Levy, and the ability to also just have a really solid healer that had a good defensive trigger on it as well. And I've played probably like 10 games with V now, and I wouldn't say that V has overperformed, but that's just because my expectations of V were absurdly high. But I would say that V has performed to expectation. Like, I've really enjoyed using this model. Its healing is good. Its gather intel with its triggers are amazing. Its ability to kind of like do a gather intel, put a negative flip on something to protect it, gather intel, bury, and then like Levy runs off somewhere, and then like next activation she pops out and then pushes Levy through something. Like, it's such good movement flexibility, and I've really loved playing with this model. Basically all of my Levy 1 lists start with Servant of Dark Powers on Levy and V at this point. So yeah, she's my girl.
Yep.
I'm gonna put her at number 2.
Yours should too. Everyone should. This model's ridiculous.
Yeah,
She's
I
so
really
good.
like V.
Oh my god.
You guys got anything to say about Ms. V here, Mr. Brandon, Haku, Sam, Landon, Pope?
I don't like it when
Wait,
things
who's
make
this
Levy
Landon
good.
guy?
Oh yeah, sorry. I think he might be friends with Pope Tarpa. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Sam,
I
what
don't
were you
like
saying, bud?
I don't like it when things make Levy good. So I can't give you props on this one.
I mean, yeah.
Sam shakes his head disappointingly at me.
If
I'm-
there were
I'm
two
just-
things,
I'm a
if there were-
hater.
yeah.
I'm drinking
If there were
the
two
haterade.
things that you could do to make Sam upset at any given point, it's buff Levy and buff Seamus. Those are the two things that. Okay.
I am drinking the haterade, guys. I'm not too proud to admit it.
It's okay,
I think
Sam.
if you're running this model, though, you're obligated to pronounce it Leviticus.
Leviticus
Yeah, because it's V to kiss.
or Yeeticus. Like I actually have taken to calling him Yeeticus because I tend to just yeet him at things. So,
Wild.
all right, number 2, Pope.
Yep.
Pope.
Sure.
Pope. Yeah, Pope.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw. So there's a similar theme in that it's not a model that we feel breaks the game, but just a model that A, I think is aesthetically really cool, and B, does something interesting and good for both of its keywords. And that's Koto. So I haven't actually gotten a chance to put him on the table yet, embarrassingly, but I also don't have the model yet. And one of the reasons I really like him is I always loved the like forearm puppet aesthetic that Malifaux has going on. So another forearm puppet is definitely a windmill slam buy for me. But mechanically, I just like that he's another cheap rig model, which is good for any number of reasons. Sometimes you would just take Tannin and Honeypot because you wanted a 6-point rig model, and Tannin's not good for every game. So in the games where like Tannin's maybe not so good, Koto's the same points, and he kind of just slots right in.
Also very durable, right? Like, and also pretty decent attack. Too.
Yeah, like he's not going to just fall over with armor 2, and he's got like some unpack stuff to kind of help you out with nervous energy. If you rig, you can get the AoE healing that you see a lot of in Honeypot, and maybe like 1 point of AoE healing a turn doesn't really add up, but when you start to get into like 2 or 3 of them a turn, then it starts getting more important for your opponents to finish things off more quickly. And in Honeypot, you often have a lot of extra brilliance going or that you can kind of just waste on good luck charms for the shielded if you think you're ever going to be needing it that turn. So like he does a couple of good things. And so yeah, I don't know. And then in the the Key and Gong, he does the favor tokens, which someone's going to jump in and say favor tokens are a good move for replacing past tokens. I think it's important
that was going to be me
to
jumping in to say
still
that.
have past tokens work as past tokens and as this, because otherwise favor tokens replacing past tokens entirely means there's not really a reason to have the past tokens be referenced to begin with. You might argue that they should have just always had their own independent resource, but I thought it was cool that they interacted with past tokens in some additional way. It's just that, the way that they interact with past tokens generically wasn't quite good enough to be an alternative to past tokens, so having them still be able to do that and then also have these favorite tokens, I think is a happy medium.
Hey bro, we heard you like pass tokens, so we gave you some alternate pass tokens so that you can pass token while you pass token, dude.
But like the willpower attack is also, I think, important to mention as doing something good for both keywords. Like in Honeypot, he's sometimes a 6-point model that hits from in 3 once or twice a turn. And in Key and Gong, if you have any of the negative will pips, maybe it's only a 2-3-4 there most of the time, but it's on, resisted by negs. So like,
yeah,
he's a pretty beefy, hitter for 6 in either keyword.
Yeah, I think that attack is super reasonable. I think, again, for a 6-stone model, I think he does a lot. Like Sam always talks about the 4, 5, 6-stone dilemma, where there's like these minions out there or these really squishy models that just die in single activations, and Koto doesn't strike me as that.
I mean, he does when Angel Eyes is on the table, right? But like, what doesn't?
Sure, yeah. All right, the Court of Nonsense. Do you have anything else for the Pope?
I really like Koto. Plus, this model is hireable in Neverborn, so Can't say enough good things, I guess. Gotta love more puppets being hireable in Neverborn.
You're just saying that because Hinamatsu can take this model.
Yeah, he's not a puppet though, and that's really upsetting. Because yes, he fucking is.
He sure looks like a puppet.
Yeah, I thought
if
that was a bit strange
if
too.
Hinamatsu's not a puppet, if Hinamatsu is a puppet, then so is Kodo. What the shit?
Is there a single 3 keyword model in the game though?
That's why there's no triple keyword models.
Yes, there are.
What?
No, he's just saying that to be difficult.
Give me a minute, I'll find one.
Okay. This was not backed up by fact in any way. Brandon is currently scammering.
I'll fact you.
Okay, all right. Mr. Barrows, ML Fishman. What do you got for number 2, bud?
My number 2 is Jebediah, which should come as no surprise to anybody who's heard me like raving about this model or seen the video that may or may not be live at the time we broadcast this, where I just talk about this model for a while. Jebediah is great.
Sam, I may or may not have it on official agreements that it's pronounced Jebediah.
Okay, well, Jebediah is extremely cool. He's really strong. He does a bunch of cool things. He has a great aesthetic. He summons these little dopey hat guys. Scoot and Boot is just an amazingly fun action. Like, it is an truly outrageous amount of mobility. Like, I'm going to push my 40 mil base up to and then through a marker that is within 6 inches of me and like push out to the far side. And then I'm going to kick the marker somewhere. And then maybe I'm going to get rid of the marker and summon a dude. It's like a truly ludicrous amount of value for a single action with a TN of 6. Jebediah is just a lot of fun. He just ride with me for some reason. Like, everything the model does is great. He's a lot of fun to play. He's kind of just straightforwardly, like, outrageously strong. So I don't think there's, like, too much to say about, like, weird, funny tricks he does. But he does also have a 246 gun, I guess, for no good reason. And he's armor 2. So if your opponent doesn't bring armor piercing, he's, like, actually difficult to remove. Okay, it's all fine. Jebediah's great.
He's the best. I agree. Jebediah for Bayou President.
Yes,
and his backstory is that he is like an old like gremlin engineer that was making hats for the families as a way of placating them so they'd leave him the fuck alone so that he could build more robots, basically, right?
Oh, he was trying to make peace between the Jones clan and the Tuckett clan who had been feuding, and they ended up just using his like peace offering hats to kill each other. So
yeah, which is like, you know, probably the most foreseeable of all foreseeable outcomes if you give the Joneses and the Tucketts weapons. So,
yeah, especially
or even if you give them anything, they will probably just turn them into weapons. So, all right, Guardians of the Nonsense Galaxy. Do we have anything else to close out for Sam's number 2 before we move to Haku's?
This guy's
number 2.
This guy's ridiculously strong. You should hire him all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy's nuts. He's so good. I can't even believe it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Jeb's great.
Yeah. Haku, what's your number 2?
Well, my number 2 is a cheat because it's 2 models, which is going to be Sightless Snow and Cedra. As anyone probably playing Blue knows, these models are pretty good. I actually like to think that they're pretty good for actual intelligent decision making, though, and it'd be really easy to misplay them and think that these models are actually kind of mid. Especially because that's almost exactly the first thing I did. They're really tanky, but they're also really frail. They're really strong, but they're also really weak. It really depends on how intelligent you are at choosing all the options, and that adds a lot of versatility to play and a lot of skill expression as well. Sometimes you're like, oh, I can tank this as Sightless Snow, and you put them out there, and then you waste like 4 soul stones on your soulstone cache in order to keep them alive, where if you were just Cedra, none of that needed to be spent. So it introduces a lot of play elements, and it really does help Raspy with a lot of what she wants to do, which is, more ice pillars spread out and takes advantage of all the ice pillars. So there's a lot of inherent synergy there, making Raspy okay again. Woo! Let's go.
Woo!
Making Raspy acceptable to play again. Yeah.
We did it.
No, I mean, I agree with you, dude. I think the skill expression in this model, especially the Sightless Snow side, is through the roof. And I was just recently trying to do some list crafting, like in our list building section for Abominable Snowgator lists. How do you feel about Bashy or Bashay paired up with Raspy though? Do you like that as well?
Oh, absolutely, unbelievably amazing. It's just so strong in Raspy Tino. Not even joking. Probably with both forms, although I mainly was playing the summoner version because I kind of just prefer that. And you really are able to get in, some really nice damage that you probably otherwise wouldn't be able to get in without him there. As well as he's just this all important like tank model that the crews needed to keep you distracted and murder things while you go out and do other things. Actually giving her time to, summon, spread out, make super annoying ice pillars everywhere. That's much better when you have a 50 mil in their face, especially, if 50 mil is in their face at a choke point, you put an ice pillar up, so it's literally like, oh, now I'm forced into killing the 50 mil or walking into engagement, destroying this ice pillar, and then trying to leave engagement. It makes a ton of play expression.
Yeah, I like Bashy a lot in December as well. Probably the most in December, honestly. Court of Nonsense. Anything else for Mr. Haku?
No, that's probably it. Just to keep things short. Models are amazing. You can do a lot with them. Highly versatile, very skill expressive, very easy to mess up placement, and just kind of feels bad about them.
Yeah, I really like this model pair as well, and I really like. It makes me want to bust out my Rasputina crew and just like solo Rasputina for like 20 tournaments. Granted, I'm sure that I would change my mind almost immediately, but it's just super intriguing, and it's one of those models where in Malifaux, which is already an insanely skill cap game, you just have this like so much higher threshold of skill cap insanity. It's just really cool.
All right, Mr. Brandon, do you want to do your number 2?
Okay, so my number 2 is a model that we all know and love, and quite frankly, the more resurrectionistly inclined of us hire pretty frequently, and that's Ezekiel. So this guy, comes with 5 new mindless zombies that are all horror movie themed, which there's like Jason, Freddy, Carrie, and others. I probably am forgetting an important one. The miner from My Bloody Valentine. He's riding Jigsaw. So the box itself is just dripping with theme. It's so fucking cool. But the model is actually just insane. He has healing energy, which is a great heal with Debt of Gratitude, so you can heal your opponent's models, just make them remove scheme markers, which is like not even the third most absurd thing he does. But like he has Protected Undead, so if you're playing him cagily enough, he's basically unkillable. He does Protected Spirits, which is an insanely good bonus action, especially in the Shield Synergy Reser crews that you want to hire him in. Cough, Reva, cough. And then most ridiculously, Zombie Apocalypse, on a suitless 6, he just summons a mindless zombie. And I don't know that I've ever taken an Ezekiel activation that wasn't... Oh, I'm sorry. And also he has intuition built in, so you can have 3 instances of intuition if you want to hire both of the upgrades. But so you activate Ezekiel, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, decide which 2 cards are summoning mindless zombies, and then protect something with spirits, and you did it.
I've also had, Brandon, I forgot to tell you about this, but I had a game 2 days ago with Ezekiel, or it was probably it was last week, sorry, where I intuitioned him, and you know how he has his range thing that has a slow trigger on it?
Yeah.
So I saw the red Joker.
Normal attack, yeah.
I saw the red Joker with that, and I was able to slow a key model to win the game with Ezekiel from like 10 away or whatever.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, his attack that does that, Fresh Meat, lets you push every friendly undead model in line of sight of the target towards it, 3 inches.
And it's not enemy only, so you can do it to your own guys just to get 6 inches.
Yeah, so if you're playing an entirely undead crew, because you're playing Resers, so of course you are probably. That one breaks down a little bit in rev up, but this guy's so good. I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's the patriarch of the Bokor, the Gatro family that you will know the Bokors from, and when are we gonna get a whole Goblin or Gremlin Reser faction, or keyword.
He's great for 6 Stolstones, Brandon, in this economy.
Also, update on 3 keyword models. Unless we're counting versatile, I think that's true. But if we are counting versatile, there are so many.
Versatile's not a keyword.
You're not a keyword, Sam. Poppin's not a keyword.
So I just want to ask one question before we move on, and that's just so say you're playing Ezekiel. You see, two 13s and the red Joker on top, like Doug did that one time or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you actually do anything with his activation, or do you just hold those cards for the next guy in your crew?
Yeah, I summon 2 zombies and leave the red Joker on top. That's probably what I do.
I needed to slow this thing it was basically worth a point in either direction. And so I took it and then I stopped flipping cards after that.
Yeah.
So I left myself 113.
Unless I have 5 zombies in play, I'm never not summoning 2 zombies.
Brandon's just mono.
I don't give a crap.
It's zombies!
And just so we're clear, yes, I'm running Asura Rotten. I don't think I am, but I really want to do the, like, basically, I don't know, what I imagine a Nicodem list would be, because holy crap, running this guy in Nicodem is top tier. Strongly recommend.
Okay. On to number ones.
So, number 1 pick, Douglas, tell us.
Number 1.
Who is your number 1 Ashes of Malifaux model?
This is at least Jeff? Consistent. I mean, yeah, it's Jeff from Defective Dice. He's my favorite Ashes of Malifaux.
He's my favorite Ashes of Malifaux model too.
Wait, I went first, so it's mine. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm gonna be consistent. I was super excited about this guy before the book dropped. I played with him probably about 7 games now, and oh boy, do I love Director Rodriguez.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jeff from Defective Dice, but please continue.
I thought they were the same person. Honestly, I wasn't.
Is Jeff secretly Director Rodriguez?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, he's amazing, and he is kind of what helped me fall in love with Sonya 2 as a master. I spent a lot of time on Guild recently, and I landed on Lucius 2 as like the first Guild master that I knew I wanted to spend a lot of time with. And then I was struggling what I wanted to kind of have as a second keyword. And then when Director Rodriguez got revealed, I was like, oh man, I want to play with this guy. And it basically made me fierily passionate about the Witch Hunter keyword and all of those plus flips and all that lead line cloak that he wears and all the cool things that he can do. And I've just really enjoyed playing with the model. Whenever I see like a big 10 stone like core crew centric model that I enjoy, I get really excited because I am always excited to bring that model, and I know that the crew is going to function usually, centrically around that model and its strategies. And when you bring Director Rodriguez, you're usually bringing him and supporting him, and he's usually a big part of your strategy. And I've just really enjoyed playing with the model. So yeah, let's go Director Rodriguez.
Yeah, he seems good.
Anybody have some opinions on this fiery fellow?
Remember when I buried him and he spent the entire rest of the game doing nothing?
So his official nickname by the community is Hot Rod. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
you did tell me that. I feel like that is probably a pretty good nickname. I should probably.
Yeah, Doug was testing this guy against me, and I was playing Wong. I was testing out whatchamacallit, the guy who rides a frog, Houdini. And he basically sent Rodriguez in at me, and I had the cards to not have my dudes die. And then I just hit him with 3 jinxes with Glimpse of the Void, and it drained his hand and then made him fail. And then he unburied on like the dark side of the moon and spent the entire rest of the game doing nothing. So
he spent the best of the rune walking back into the action, sir. He wasn't doing nothing, and also because of Other Flame, he's not that slow.
Yeah, I think he actually he voted. I think he voted a little bit.
Yeah, he voted on the far side of the moon. He hung out, he was having a good time.
So he just retired to
democracy. And I think he might have outflanked too, actually.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyways, it was that's how you deal with when you play brown and your opponent takes scary models. That's what you do. You just make him go away. You make him. You put him in the timeout corner.
Are you telling me he didn't go out in a blaze of glory?
No, he kind of just like sat there in a firmly focused blaze of walk actions and
a blaze of adequacy.
Actions.
A conflagration of democracy.
Yes, yeah, that's a much better way to put it. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Yeah, Director Rodriguez is really good. I really like him too.
Yeah, he's really cool. All right, Landon, any thoughts on Mr. Rodriguez? I know that you were initially a very big fan of this model. Has that changed at all for you?
Yeah, so I talked about him a lot because I like him on paper. I just haven't gotten to toy around with Guild yet because I've been practicing for this upcoming tournament you may or may not have heard of.
Danger Planet GT.
Oh, is it the Danger Planet GT?
Yes.
I think I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be there too, dude.
I actually just typed in Hot Rod trying to look for him on the app. That's unfortunately that doesn't work yet. We're
Quick,
getting
somebody,
you guys on
somebody
this.
get Dane. Somebody get Dane in on this.
So obviously he's mechanically very good. I feel like he's one of those things where it's like, I talked about how I like a lot of the other models because they feel like they do something for both keywords, and I do like Rodriguez and feel like you can play him anywhere in Guild, but he feels a lot more like he was Witch Hunter than he was
Right,
Marshall.
I agree.
And it's okay. Like, the Art of Undeath is a good aura for that crew, so he does something, right?
It feels so much better with Sonya though, dude. Like, unlimited plus flips, Landon. Unlimited.
Exactly.
I mean,
it is limited.
I like the model, and I think the model's good, but it feels not as cool as the other models to me.
Yeah, I guess what he does, he's good at what he does, but what he does isn't that sexy. He's
Yeah,
kind of like
that's
a
it.
weird version of Wolverine, I guess.
I can't believe this.
All right, cool. That's my number one. I'm sticking to it.
I do like
Landon.
old men, though. Old men representation. We had Jan Lone before, now we got Director Rod.
Grumpy
Yeah.
old men representation. So your people are in the game, Landon.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. What do you got for number one, Landon?
You're asking me who my favorite is for number one. It's probably Sen, and it's not necessarily because, like I said, Sen's the best or most powerful model out of the expansion. That title goes to any number of other models, although leave it to me to downplay 10 Thunders models wherever I get the chance. But because I think, like, she does some things that are really, really good for the titles of the crew she's in that nobody plays. So she does good stuff for Jacob 1 and good stuff for Yoko 1 as well, while also being good in the titled versions too. But Beckoning Call is just something I've wanted in, like, Yoko 1's keyword for as long as Yoko 1 has existed. And, like, even before she got reworked the first time, my feedback was always just give her Beckoning Call, give her Beckoning Call, give her Beckoning Call, so that you can just keep sending enemy models back into the neg willpower auras after they've already, walked out of them. And so, like, that's a really cool, good thing that we finally got for Qiangong if you wanted to try playing some of the lesser seen Qiangong minions like the Geisha and the Kabuki Warrior, who have really cool, powerful, splashy auras, but have a good number of actual downsides to them that make them not necessarily the best for competitive games. And I don't know if that much has changed, but it at least makes it better, while also being, like, just a really good ability. Like, if Toss is my favorite ability in the game, which y'all know by now, Beckoning Call is probably, like, number 2, because it's just such a cool, versatile ability that you can use in 12 million different ways that really makes Malifaux. And it's got good triggers. So,
Yeah.
like, this model is just really exciting to me, and, the fact that they made Honeypot and Qiangong together as the keyword for either of those keywords felt like it was a love letter to me, and I'm not disappointed with what they delivered.
It felt like a personal affirmation of all of your hopes and dreams encapsulated in a single piece of 28 millimeter plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Landon. Man, let me just wipe this tear.
Yeah,
as
I really like Sen. I think both the Honeypot and Qiangong models are just super, super good. I think that box is going to be crazy good.
Yeah, it's aces. Also 8s for some reason.
Yeah, why not?
Wow.
Because ace and 8 is, like, that's how you rig the deck.
It's the dead man's hand. It's what Wild Bill Hickok was holding when he was killed.
Yeah,
It's also what
a
Sam
legend.
Barrows was holding when he was killed right now. Sam, what's your
Allegedly.
number one?
Allegedly.
So I said earlier that I really like these models that sort of are playing like a weird little mini game, and so my number one is going to be my favorite mini game of at the sort of Ashes season, and it's the Hand of Janus, and the mini game is called How Much Damage Can I Do with a Single AP? I really like the play style that's basically like you're funneling, a bunch of, like, chi into one model and then, like, blowing somebody to the far side of the moon, like the Goku Spirit Bomb. And, in ES previously we had the Matron for that, and then she got kind of nerfed and she's no longer really as good at that. But now we have the Hand of Janus, which is just, like, very much a model that you need to build around, and you need to, like, have a plan for how to use it. But if your opponent does not see it coming, or if they like are not really able to appropriately react to it and spread out, you are just going to take off half their crew in one activation. Like you can go, I'm going to shoot you with my range 12 gun that ignores everything, and do 4 damage to the target, and then 2 4 damage blasts, and then I'm going to do it again. And by the way, because you made the mistake of attacking me, I'm at double positive to all my attack and damage flips. So, and I also drew a million cards because I'm playing Tiri or Maxine, so it's not like my hand isn't stacked. So you're dead. And like, it's a model that's like got a bunch of weaknesses, and what I just described is very much like a Magical Christmas Land scenario because most people are going to spread out. But you really need to spread out a lot to not get like even just tagging 2 models with a severe. It's 8 damage is a lot of damage for a at range 12. And like I do also like that it has defined weaknesses. Like anything that ignores armor is going to kill this thing so fast. And there's a lot of stuff out there that ignores armor now. Like armor is not the defensive tech it used to be. So you can't just throw the Hand of Janus forward and expect it to live. But it just has a lot of like cool little things. Like its melee attack just kind of rocks. It's a 3-4-5 with good triggers. Like it's got shove aside. So the mini game here is basically like, can I have my dude attack while frantic with a good hand and do something? And there are some crews that you will play into where your opponent really can't stop you. Like just as an example, Reva has these lamp pads which have defense crappy, and which basically like she can't really not have lamp pads around, or not lamp pads, sorry, the corpse candles. She can't not have corpse candles around. Like corpse candles are something that that exists. So your opponent is going to have to play in a really weird way to not ever present a target with the corpse candles. Like basically, never leave one alive with the hand unactivated if the candle is anywhere in the middle of your crew. And that's a lot to ask from a player. So there are some crews where you're just going to like look at the way they've spread out, and you're going to look at your hand, and you're just going to make the Grinch smile. And I'm really looking forward to those games.
That's the worst place to be when you're playing Sam and Malifaux. Can I just say, when that happens, it's like
when he has a giant Grinch smile that like hits his face, and you're like, "Oh my God, Sam, what's about to happen?" And he just doesn't say anything, but he smiles, and he like flips his cards really quick back and forth, and then you're like, "Sam, talk to me," and he just like.
Well, it's just really confusing. He has this gremlin energy about him, and he's not even playing by you.
Sam has strong big brain energy. Yeah. So he's got like evil gremlin mastermind energy for sure.
Reva 2 is really popular right now. She's kind of having a moment, and the hand is super good into Reva 2. He ignores hazardous, so she can't like inflict burning on him for free, which shuts off a lot of the like non-interactive stuff that she does. And he's also can just blast off of her like crappy low defense dudes and do a bunch of damage. And she also doesn't really have a lot of armor piercing in her crew. So, it's not super easy for her to chunk him down. So, and he has condition removal. So I think this in general, this is a model that if you are having a hard time with Reva 2 and you're playing teal, just hire the Hand of Janus. You'll be happy. I like this model a lot. Also, the model looks cool. Like giant 3-headed like robot, just like engage ass beating protocols.
I mean, awful. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're having trouble playing against Reva 2, just like, I don't know, leave the Isle of Great Britain. Problem solved. And also, like, why doesn't the Hand of Janus have black blood? It's Janus's hand. Janus has black blood.
Okay.
What is that? A spoiler? Too bad. You had 3 months to read the book. I don't give a shit.
Jesus, man.
It'd be oil. Black oil.
Okay.
Maybe she's Phyrexian.
Haku, are you ready
to take...
Phyrexian. Are you ready for your big monumental number 1, Haku?
Yes, I am.
All right, what do you got, bud?
I got leftovers.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. I'm sitting astute now.
So I don't know if people know this, but I kind of made my splash with Grave Goo and X's by jamming him and just murdering people, because you can give him focus, you can give him fast, and you can just go forward and beat people with a 2-3-6 that has accidental rollover on masks. Now you can do that with a 2-4-6 and a 1-inch reach, and you can also give this guy, well, in McMorning, you can give him Trail Slime, so he's really just Grave Goo 2.0 for 1 Soul Stun more. It helps that fast is super easy to get in any Resur list, because you can just hire Sloth and bam, you can fast him. So versatile fast. It's really easy to give them focus because you can just take nurses. And then you know what nurses also do? They give you a really high mask. So you can really, really just go ham on the alpha strike with this guy. And you don't necessarily need alpha, but pretty much he's an alpha package in every single Resur list you now have to worry about having demise deny for. And if you do bring the demise deny, then now you just have to play smarter with leftovers. A lot of anti-demise people are also very weak, so you can just go forward and they're the target you kill with leftovers, and then it makes a lot of make it or break it moments for sure, but, jokers don't exist. So, that being said,
jokers don't exist and can't hurt you, Haku?
Is that the catchphrase of the game? I thought it was bad things happen.
Yeah, no, it's just the catchphrase of the game is jokers happens, and
I thought it was ass-beating protocol in game.
It might be now.
Yeah, so all in all, model is very tanky, very versatile. It enables an alpha strike play pattern that Resurrectionist hasn't seen since Dead Rider, and quite frankly, does it better than Dead Rider did. Instead of kidnapping a model backwards, you now just go forward and murder the model. They don't have anti-demise. Then them dealing with leftovers is just such a time sink for such a small investment for the Resur player. Outside of keyword, you're paying 9 soul stones to probably just straight murk a guy and then kill him. The quote-unquote support for it that you have to rig your whole entire crew around is just a nurse and sloth, which are 2 models that already slotted into almost every Resur list possible that had undead in it. The only person who just can't really abuse this, I guess, in Resurs is Karai, and do we care about her anymore? Not really. She has her own cool things going on, and even then can probably still take advantage of, just hiring this package, because she can just then focus on double alpha striking people with a Curio and leftovers, because the big part about leftovers is you don't have to go in last. Going in early is just leaving them with a really annoying model to deal with that can ruin their whole entire unpack, provided they don't have anti-demise.
Yeah, if they don't have an anti-demise model in their entire crew, then there's literally no reason to not just heat this into someone's face.
And there are some factions that don't really have that option.
So that's my commentary on this guy is I like leftovers a lot. I think it's super cool. It's a great design. I don't want to see it changed. I do think that at this point in the game's life cycle, I don't actually die demises are a sufficiently strong and swingy mechanic that it's not really cool that there are factions, and there's one faction specifically that has absolutely no in-faction answer whatsoever to that kind of demise, and it's Brown. Every other faction has either anti-demise or anti-healing tech, and Brown has neither at all.
That's not true.
Who doesn't? I think everyone has one or the other.
No, doesn't Brown have it now, technically? Very, very, very technically.
So basically, you're going. So depending on the master, you can out of keyword something. You're saying,
yeah,
Swamp the Leech King. Yeah,
yep,
Swamp Fiend.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes,
it's
but
literally your only answer.
But the point is, if you didn't declare Swamp Fiend,
yeah, you get fucked.
Well, it's the same problem in yellow too, then, right? If you don't declare exactly Teary.
No, because yellow has models with entropy that you can out of keyword hire if you need to.
Yeah, Webster being the namely not shit one.
That's right. I didn't think about Webster with entropy. That's fine. That's fair. Webster does not have entropy. Okay. I was wondering about that. I didn't think that was true. It's not true.
It's not entropy that she has. It's the anti-heal aura.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I was thinking of the anti-heal aura, obviously, but
yeah.
It's just I like I don't die demises. I think they're a cool part of the game, but they're such a swingy mechanic that I think every faction should have the ability to do something to counter them, because it's just if I get hit with the leftovers in my face and I'm playing Brown, I'm basically oh, okay, so I'm either going to spend an entire crew's worth of AP to maybe kill this 8-stone model, or I'm going to lose.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't deny that, which is why I am bringing it up now with my love for leftovers, because I don't actually think that that's the I don't think that kills it, not being able to do that, which is why I really kind of, as you're saying, want those tech options for more Greek people. They introduced so many good demise models in this errata that not being able to deal with them is going to be a huge blow to the factions and keywords that don't have some off-pick answer to it.
I think Sly Six Shots should be able to hand out silver bullets. Like, that would be a cool little piece of very flavorful tech.
Yeah, the other interesting things is going to be like bans. When we talk about leftovers, I think, particularly in the Resur mirror matchup, it's like, oh, well, we're in bans format. If they ban Manos, what do you do?
Yeah,
you just have to bring leftovers. Now you're both playing leftovers, or I guess you just hope they're not McMorning. What are your options? It's going to be really interesting, and on a competitive level, it's going to demand that you're able to play other keywords anytime you have bans up, which is kind of almost, honestly, the opposite point of what I think Bans was trying to do.
Probably. I think I'm looking forward to a day where maybe Manos is playable in the Bans format. That'd be wild.
Where you get to play Manos at all.
Where you get to sometimes play Manos, because it's
New
a
model
50-50
just dropped.
shot. Manos, what's this? I've never been able to use it before.
I've never been able to play it in Regulation Comparial Bans.
I think in Resur vs. Resur, you either have to pick McMorning or you have to pick Younglove, so they can't ban Manos.
That's so funny. I love that so much. Okay, so
there's another lantern model. You can always just hire the one from Irami. Who is it?
Datsuba?
Datsueba, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't need Manos. He's just way better than Datsueba. But you
Yeah,
have an alternative.
I lost a game in the last World Series because I just straight up forgot that Datsueba has the Lantern of Souls.
Yeah,
is that two now, Sam?
Yeah, I was about to say, hey Sam, you remember that other time you lost to Lantern and Souls to a person on this call in the finals of an event?
Well, in that one, I knew Charm Warders had Lantern of Souls. I just was an idiot. This one, I straight up was like, holy crap, she's got that on her card. What the hell? I never see people hire Datsueba. You hire Charm Warders all the time, so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's going to be the thing where you have to do it now, right? Like, as we were talking about, it's just, what are your options anymore?
Yeah, we got one of these models that we should do maybe for the same thing is leftovers. Just saying, Landon. I mean, Haku. Okay, so I promise I know that you're not the same person. I'm gonna jump in because we're kind of getting long, but okay. My number one model, the best model in the entire book, and arguably the only master in the book, technically, even though he's not a master, but boy is he a leader all of the time, especially in my heart. It's Dr. Silas. There are too many good things to mention in the 57 minutes that we've already been talking about how awesome this guy is. So let me just say 3 things. 1, toss. Landon, you're on my side now. Okay. 2, he's basically just Hellboy. Tell me he's not. Look at the model. Can't wait until this model comes out. It's going to be wild. You should all paint him red with me. We're all going to paint him red. He's going to just be Hellboy. And number 3, Angel Eyes and Outcast, I rest my case.
I do like that
Outcast
Outcast
didn't have it before, a sniping model.
I do like that Outcasts are the faction that can just randomly hire great Neverborn stuff, between her and Matures with Barbaros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or why not both, Sam? Why not both? Because you can't, but that's not the point.
You can still hire Barbaros with your Silas crew. And you can still hire Silas with your Barbaros crew.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to toss mature Nephilims, even though you're not allowed to. That's what I got. Dr. Silas is super cool. I really like him. He comes with upgrades to give Angel Eyes Leap, which is probably irrelevant. Angel Eyes in Outcast. That's what I got. I don't know. I guess I talk a big game, but there's not really a lot to say. He's a dude with toss. I've played a couple games with him now, playing the Half-Blood Asylum crew. The other wild out of left field shenanigans you can do with Dr. Silas is you can hire both of the nurses from the Asylum keyword and then 3 out of keyword scavengers to have 5 tools for the jobs model.
What does your list do? Tools for the job. Yeah, and what else? No, that's it. Tools for the job.
What does my list do? I get this one red joker 7 fucking times. That's
Until
what
my
I
opponent
do.
makes me flip one card.
Quiet down, Sam.
Then
You're-
it's
my
gone
opponent-
forever.
No.
obviously my entire, if I'm playing 5 tools for the job models, they're all sitting in the back corner.
Dude,
And
look,
we'll
nothing
activate
else.
If
in
you
it
have
in
a
the row
fast
last.
Angel Eyes,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, I
5
don't need
tools
anyone
for the
else.
job models really helps fuel that engine into just murdering something really well.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I got.
Oh my
Dr.
God.
Silas is really cool. I really like him. But I think that wraps up our little experiment here. These are a bunch of Ashes of Malifaux models. If you haven't heard of Ashes of Malifaux, you should check it out. We have a bunch of videos
On Ashes of Malifaux.
on Malifaux and the ashes thereof. So thank you for coming on this journey with us. Welcome back, Landon, Haku, Sam, Doug, and myself. I feel like we haven't done anything like this in a while, so it's refreshing to get back
getting
together.
the gang back together.
Yeah.
As Sam says, sorry, what's the new saying? Ass
God, I'm
kicking
gonna-
mode.
I'm gonna hear this
Ass
from you like
kicking
5 times a
protocols
day.
engaged.
I'm
Ass
gonna say,
kicking
look,
protocols engaged.
No. I'm gonna say it one more time on this call because it'll make Doug happy. You go, engage ass beating protocols.
Oh, it's ass beating. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
say the Sam. Say the line. Say that. I'm afraid I can't do that, Mr. Wayne.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Mr. Bradshaw.
Amazing. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You've been the internet. We've been the Danger Planet team. We'll be around for a while, even if you don't want us to be.
Check out our Discord. It's super awesome. That's where we do all of our stuff. Check out our Patreon. That's live now. If you haven't heard about this awesome Malifaux tournament we have coming up, you should do that. And super awesome special thanks to all of our Patreon backers, our patrons. They make this really great and doable on a long scam. They basically almost pay for all of our software that we pay out of pocket for to make these videos. It's a good time. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, everybody.